Hello everyone, welcome to our adventure. We created this channel for friends, family, and anyone who wants to join us on this incredible journey. Today's video kicks off with the day it all began, April 29th, 2023. We left home around 8 a.m. with neighbors and friends cheering us on, armed with 5 bottles of champagne. Don't worry, we only popped a couple. It felt a bit early to start chugging wine, especially since we had no idea where our travels would take us. Our first milestone was crossing the Wilson Piggott Bridge. We hailed the bridge, watched traffic stop for sailing vessel Zen, and felt an exhilarating mix of excitement and nerves as our adventure officially began. Once through, it was the perfect moment to toast a special bottle of champagne gifted by my brother and sister-in-law, Simeon and Michelle. We made our way to downtown Fort Myers, where Heidi and Jose surprised us to cheer us on and say their goodbyes. That evening, a storm rolled in, so we quickly grabbed a mooring ball at Fort Myers Beach and stayed there for 2 nights. It gave us a chance to organize, and by organize, I mean tackle the chaos of stuff piled everywhere. From there, we sailed south towards the Keys, soaking in breathtaking sunrises and sunsets along the way. Honestly, they never get old. After crossing from the Gulf to the Atlantic via the iconic 7-mile bridge, we arrived at Looe Key, just off Big Pine Key. It was Cinco de Mayo, so we celebrated with Phil and Tracy over the phone before diving into the water for some snorkeling. That's where we met a medium-sized Goliath grouper who decided to hang out under our boat for quite a while. Next up was Key West, where we welcomed Joan and Charlie aboard. Together, we headed straight to Marquesas Keys, where we spotted another grouper lingering around the boat. We attached a fish carcass to a rope to see if he was interested. After 2 tries, he gulped it right down. What a sight to see. Our next stop, the Dry Tortugas. Photos can't capture the true beauty of this place. Accessible only by boat or seaplane, this remote national park is home to Fort Jefferson, a colossal 19th century fortress. Construction began in 1846 and took over 30 years to complete. Spanning 16 acres, the fort features more than 2,000 archways and gun emplacements, once designed to house massive cannons. Despite its imposing size, Fort Jefferson never saw battle. Today, it's surrounded by a thriving ecosystem. Visitors often spot sea turtles, tropical fish, and a variety of bird species around the fort, making it an unforgettable destination for nature lovers and history buffs alike. We also visited Loggerhead Key, a tiny island with a lighthouse, just a dingy ride from the fort. The ride took about 30 minutes, and we had the island almost entirely to ourselves for the day. By the time we were ready to head back, the wind and seas had picked up, making the return trip longer than expected. We stayed anchored at the fort for a few days, waiting out the weather. When we saw the fishermen head out, we followed suit. The Gulf Stream was our fishing destination, but we were sidetracked by what seemed like hundreds of dolphins coming to play from every direction. To date, this is the biggest pot of dolphins we've ever seen. They leapt and played alongside our boat. It was truly magical. We continued fishing, and Jeff caught his first wahoo, along with a few other great catches from him and Charlie. But the day wasn't over yet. In the distance, we spotted something unusual, a disabled boat carrying 17 Cuban migrants. I didn't feel comfortable videoing them, so I snapped a few photos. Cuba faces chronic shortages of food, medicine, and basic goods due to economic mismanagement and a long-standing U.S. embargo. Critics of the government risk censorship, imprisonment, or exile. Many Cubans seek a better quality of life, professional opportunities, or a chance to reunite with family abroad, especially in the U.S. They often attempt the journey in makeshift rafts, small boats, or even inner tubes. It's a perilous trip with risks of capsizing, dehydration, and encounters with human traffickers. Seeing this firsthand was emotional, to say the least. It made us feel incredibly grateful for the freedoms we often take for granted. We stayed with them till around 10 p.m. to ensure they were safe before continuing our journey. The next morning, we woke up ready to explore another beautiful island in Marquesas Keys. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more adventures ahead.